Hi everybody. So first of all, I would like to welcome you all in today's session. Today's topic is securely connecting MuleSoft to Azure SQL with Entra ID. Let's start with safe harbor statements. Both the speaker and host are organized meet up at individual capacity. We are not representing our organizations here. This presentation is strictly for learning purpose. Don't hold any responsibility that same solution work your business use case. This presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. Talking about myself, I'm the organizer of this meetup. My name is Komal Tekar, Senior Solution Consultant at Kilius Consulting, and I am a MuleSoft Investor 2025. Moreover, I am a meetup leader and I host meetups from two different locations, Mohali and Chandigarh. Anyone who wants to be speaker of MuleSoft meetups from these two different locations can reach out to me at any time. Looking forward to have a great session today. So here are the amazing speakers of our today's session, Saksham Adhikari and Pragati Kohli. I would like to hand over mic to Saksham Adhikari for his introduction.
Okay, thank you, Komal. So, my name is Saksham Adhikari. I've been working as senior solution consultant at Kilius Consulting. So, it's been 3 years now since I've been with Kilius. During this time period, I got the opportunity to work across different projects with MuleSoft. And today, I'm glad to be part of this meetup and looking forward to share some valuable insight regarding the Azure authentication through Entra ID, and we'll be providing some uh, database connectivity that simplifies our work through MuleSoft. Over to you, Pragati.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. I am Pragati Kohli and I work as a solution consultant at Kilis Consulting. So, I am really excited presenting here today and learn from the vibrant community. I am 2x MuleSoft and 2x Salesforce certified. So, yeah, let's just dive in.
Now let me stop sharing. Prati or Saksham, please go ahead and share.
Yes. So let's just talk about the agenda for today. So at very first, we'll look into what is Microsoft Entra Authentication. Will have a brief overview of the same. Then we move forward with the key benefits for Microsoft Entra Authentication and why do we need it. And then authentication and data access flow with MuleSoft and Entra ID, followed by the steps to set up the Microsoft Entra authentication for our MuleSoft applications, then some troubleshooting tips for the common challenges that you might face while implementing the same into your applications or into your specific use cases, and some fixes for the same. And then we'll have a detailed step-by-step demo for the same. And at last, we have a fun-filled and knowledge-filled trivia, and then open discussions and Q&A at towards the end. So let's just look into what is Microsoft Entra Authentication. Yes, so Microsoft Entra ID, that was formerly known as Azure Active Directory. So this provides a secure user and service authentication, and it goes beyond simple username and password verification that we all are aware of. So talking about specifically for MuleSoft integration, so it enables secure API and database access and without relying on static credentials. And it do come up with some core characteristics. So, talking about the very first, we have self service password reset. So, while we say self service password reset, so it means that we don't require any IT help desk intervention for our account recoveries. So, we don't need the IT help for recovering our passwords or resetting our passwords. And then multi factor authentication. So, this term itself describes that it comes with an enhanced security layer for our critical integration endpoints. Then talking about hybrid integration. So hybrid integration, so this synchronizes the password changes and enforces password policies across on-premise environments. And then passwordless authentication. So the term is itself defining that it enables the token based access for our MuleSoft flows, and it removes the need for storing passwords. Yes. So why Microsoft Entra authentication? So we have talked about what is Microsoft Entra authentication. So let's just move forward. Why do we need it, and what are the key benefits for the same? Yes. So it comes with enhanced security, improved user experience, simplified administration and compliance, scalability, and flexibility. So let's just dive into one by one. Yes, enhanced security. So when I'm saying enhanced security, so it serves us strong authentication, conditional access, centralized control. And I've already mentioned the two terms, that is MFA, multi-factor authentication, passwordless authentication. So it reduces the risk of compromised credentials and unauthorized access to our MuleSoft applications and data. And if I talk about conditional access, so the Entra ID's conditional access policies, this basically helps to dynamically grant the access or block the access for our MuleSoft applications based on the real-time risk signals. So this basically enhances the security without compromising the user convenience. And centralized control, so it helps us to manage the user identities and access to all of our applications, including those integrated with MuleSoft from a central location, and it improves the visibility, security, and control over our digital assets. Talking about the second point, that is improved user experience. So improved user experience comes with single sign-on and self-service password reset. So I'll talk about single sign-on first. So single sign-on basically helps to access the multiple resources with a single set of credentials, and self-service password reset, as I've mentioned, we don't need any IT intervention for resetting or unlocking our accounts. Moving to next, we have simplified administration and compliance. So Entra ID basically automated the user provisioning and deprovisioning and role assignments, and it ensures that right people have the right access to the MuleSoft resources. And then we have the role-based access control. So role-based access control is basically RBAC, and it facilitates the assigning the permissions to users based on their job roles. Scalability and flexibility, so it has cloud-based scalability, like it offers easy scalability and accommodating the growth to our MuleSoft deployments. And then hybrid and multi-cloud support, so it seamlessly integrates with our on-premise Active Directory and other cloud platforms, and it also provides a unified identity experience across both hybrid and multi-cloud environments. So basically this is very essential for our many enterprise deployments. We had a look over to what is Microsoft authentication and their benefits. So we have a basic understanding for the same. So let's just move to the authentication and data access flow with MuleSoft and Entra ID. Yes. So talking about this step by step. So the very first step is access request initiation. So in this, the client or our end user will directly invoke our MuleSoft API endpoint. And once this is being invoked, the authentication sequence is triggered for their identity verification. So once this is done, the MuleSoft application will initiate a connect flow with the Microsoft Entra ID. And this will support the interactive user login or managed identity for our service to service authentication. And then is the identity verification and policy enforcement. So in this, Microsoft Entra ID will validate your submitted credentials against the directory policies. And if any conditional access or MFA, multi-factor authentication, if they are configured, so they will be enforced in this. Moving on to the next step will be the token issuance. So Microsoft Entra ID will return a signed token to our MuleSoft applications, and this token will include our user claims, scopes, and the expiration metadata basically. And then once this token has been issued. So MuleSoft will use this token to authenticate against that Azure SQL database, and this will be done via AAD integrations. So Azure SQL will validate your token signature, your issuer, your audience, and RBAC permissions. So once all the validation has been done towards your credentials and issued token, so MuleSoft will execute the SQL operation. So basically, whatever SQL operations you want to operate based on your logic or your use case, so these will be performed uh, in your MuleSoft applications based on your authorized user roles and claims. So then your data will be transformed, or whatever the processing you have besides it inside your flows, so this that will be performed. So below is the pictorial representation for the same that summarizes basically all the steps that I have discussed so far. So let's just move to how we can set up the Microsoft Entra authentication now. Yes. So setting up Microsoft Entra authentication comes with some steps. So let's just talk about first the Azure part of it. So first is the setting up the Entra ID app registration. So for this, we'll go to the Azure portal, then Azure Active Directory. So Azure Active Directory is same as the Microsoft Entra ID basically. And then we go to the app registrations, then new registration. So once you go to this, uh, you have your you'll basically have your app. You'll register your app there, and then you'll note down the following details. That will be the client ID and client secret. So this will be in detail will be represented to you when we are showing the demo. So moving to the next point. Yes. So assigning the app as a SQL user. So before I talk about this, we have some prerequisites. So to move to this step. So you must have your Azure SQL database deployed, then Azure AD admin set for your SQL server. So basically, this is very important for external users or apps to authenticate. Then app registration created in Microsoft Entra ID with client ID, tenant ID, and your client secret. So this is the very first step that I've already talked about. So once these steps, these conditions have been met, so we will run the following queries, and inside this, as you can see, we have an app name placeholder. So this will be replaced by your app registration that you have created in your Azure portal. So let's just see what is the significance of these queries. So these queries, basically this step is crucial because it grants the service principal the next necessary permissions to access the Azure SQL database using your token based authentication. So uh, talking about the very first query, that is create user your app name then from external provider. So this query basically tells the SQL server to trust the identity issued by Microsoft Entra ID, and by adding the data reader and data writer. So DB data reader and DB data writer. So this will limit its access to what MuleSoft requires, basically the read and write permissions, and avoiding the unnecessary administrative rights. So by running all these queries, so this will eliminate your SQL usernames and passwords, and MuleSoft apps authenticate securely via Entra ID tokens, and this will reduce your security risk. So once this step is met, we'll move on to the MuleSoft part of it. So we'll need to set up the Maven dependencies for the Entra ID authentication. And if I talk about the dependencies, the MS SQL JDBC driver. So this we need to add manually to our Mule app class path, and MSL4J and other dependencies that I've listed down below. These will be auto resolved via Maven. So once this is met, so this will ensure that your MuleSoft acquire tokens and connect your Azure SQL securely. So the below is the snapshot for the dependencies that we have added in our demo POC. Yes. So moving to the next step is making the configuration for the database. So inside this, we add a driver class, then some JDBC URL parameters. So we'll talk about these one by one when we have a demo for the same. And we will leave the username and password fields blank over here. Then the last step that will be of testing the connection. So once you have added the correct URL and everything, the dependencies, then your test connection will be successful over here. So once we are done with setting up the Microsoft Enter authentication into our MuleSoft application, so during that process, you might come across some challenges that might require some fixes. So let's just talk about the common challenges first. So if you see any issue regarding your AAD secure principal ID not specified, so you need to ensure that it is in the URL and not inside the username field basically. And if you see MSAL4J, like no such method error. So you need to be ensure of the versions. So use uh, you don't need to use the version lower than the one specified in the slide. You need to have this at least or some higher version for this. And then text connection fails. So for this, don't need to worry. You can ignore it. Basically, you can have a demo flow to test the connection, because sometimes it may happen that uh, it may require the testing the connection on the runtime execution. So that's why we can ignore if our test connection fails. And then firewall blocks IP. So this can be handled and fixed. We can whitelist our IP in Azure SQL networking tab. Yes, so we have been through the overview from for Microsoft Entra ID. Then we have see that how we can set up into our MuleSoft application. So let's just have a glance over the benefits. So enhanced security, we have already talked. It eliminates the hard-coded credentials. It leverages the token-based authentication and conditional access. Centralized identity and access control. So this is managed through Microsoft Entra ID, and provides us the simplified user and service principal management, improved compliance and governance. So this comes with RBAC, that is role-based access control, then centralized auditing and reporting. Seamless user experience comes with your uh, single sign-on, and then scalable and cloud-ready architecture. So this is ideal for hybrid and multi-cloud deployments, and it also aligns with enterprise security standards. So that is all for the theoretical part for the Microsoft Entra authentication. So let's just move to the detailed step-by-step demo, how we can leverage the same into our MuleSoft applications practically now. So I'll hand over to Saksham for the demo part for the same. So over to you, Saksham.
Okay, thank you, Pragati, for this wonderful explanation on Entra ID authentication. So now I'll be guiding you through a step-by-step demonstration on how we can create our own SQL database and how we can access it through Entra ID using MuleSoft. So we'll just go to this Azure portal. So this is the home page of the Azure portal that we have. So Azure provide us with many services. So you can see all the services that are available. So we'll start with SQL database since we are creating connectivity with SQL database. So I'll tell you like how we can create a SQL database for our own. So I have created like my SQL server and SQL database for this meetup. So like I'll show you how we can create our own. So once you open the SQL database, you'll see an option to create your own database. You click on it, then you get this option. You can choose your subscription, the subscription you are having. Then you can name your resource group. You can just yeah, you can just name your resource group. After that, you can name your database. Suppose it is, let me name it as this. And then like I have created my own server. We can create a new one as well. Like over here, we can name it like this. Okay, it is already in use. Yeah, we can select our location. So our subscription doesn't allow me to create it on this location. And now, so if you'll see over here, there is the authentication method. So over here, we have three authentication method. One is SQL authentication method, and the other one is Microsoft Entra only authentication. The third one is like a combination of both. We can use SQL authentication and Microsoft Entra authentication both. So for Microsoft Entra only authentication, we have to create our own admin, Entra admin. And for SQL authentication, we just need to create our own admin login password, and you like we have to confirm the password. So basically, these will be the username and the password to log in into SQL Server. So for this particular POC, we'll be using Entra only authentication. So once this is done, we'll click on OK. Okay, so we need to set an admin first. So for this, let me set it to myself. So I'll be the admin for this database. So yeah. So once this step is done, we'll move to the networking part. So over here, if we see uh, in the public endpoint, we'll get an option for the firewall rules. We can create our own. We can whitelist our own current IP address. Like suppose I'm uh, connected with the current IP address. So if I select it as yes, so my current IP address will be whitelisted. So for now, we have kept it as no, and we'll use the default networking scheme. Then we'll move to security. We'll keep the default one. It can vary as per your use case in your in your projects. Then we have additional setting. We'll keep it by default, and then we get this option to create it. So we are not creating it as of now because I have already have one. So yeah, so this is how you can create your own database and you can create your own SQL server. So I have created this for this current meetup. This is my SQL server. So once you open your SQL server, it will look something like this. This is the Microsoft Entra admin. So I am the Microsoft Entra admin, and you can see my email over here. And if we go to our database, so yeah, so once you create your database, you'll see this screen where you'll get the information about your database. You'll get to know your server name. You'll get to know about the storage detail. You can also see your connection string. So connection string is basically used to connect to any of the application for integration. Since we for with MuleSoft, we use JDBC URL to connect uh, from MuleSoft to SQL Server. So we will be using this JDBC URL basically. So yeah. So once you have created your own database, the next step is you need to again go back to your home page. Then you'll see an option for app registration. So since Pragati already mentioned about the app registration, we'll have to just click on it. We'll get an option to click get a new registration. So since I have already created one for this meetup, you can see over here, there too, I am using this CCI app. So for this, you just need to create a new registration. You can name it test, and you can just register your application. So once you register your application, you'll get a client ID. You just need to copy it and save it at a secure place. And then to generate the client secret, click on this add a certificate and secret. Over here, you'll get an option to create a new client secret. Just click on it, give it a description. I'll say client secret as of now, and I'll add it. So see, so this is the basically the password, like the client secret, which you need to copy it. It will be a one time show. You just need to copy it and secure it at a safe place. So once this is done, we'll move back to app registration. Yeah. So once this is done, since I have created this for our POC, so I'll show you this one. So this is created. You can see my client ID. You can see that I have configured a client secret as well. And now, so our app is now successfully registered. Now what we have to do is we have to grant our app some permissions to access our database. So we'll go to our database. So we have this query editor. So we get multiple options. Like this query editor is for basically running the lightweight queries. You can also access it through any SQL Server management studio. Like I am using this one. Yeah. Mm, let's wait for a yeah. So over here, if you'll see, I have added since I have the admin access, so my username will go here, and we are using Microsoft Entra MFA. So since Microsoft Entra ID authentication provides us with MFA, multi-factor authentication. So I'll try to connect it. It will redirect me to this page. I'll just, and my authentication is completed. So I'll be able to access the database. And if you'll see the database, this is my database, and I have created two tables as of now. We are using the orders one. So these are two tables that I have created. I'm using orders as of now. So as I said, we can use both of them. We can either use the studio or we can either use the lightweight query where we can. Okay, give me a yeah, we can use query editor as well, where we can execute our queries. So yeah. So once you are here, we have these three queries. I'll basically copy it. Yeah. So these three queries, basically this will give us the permission to for our give permission to our app to connect with an external provider. So we just need to remove this placeholder and give our app name, which is CCI app as of now. And then we are just assigning the roles. This command will assign the role to read the data from the database, like from our table orders table, and this will give the access to write it in that table. So we just need to replace this placeholder and pass our app name and execute it. So since I've already done this part, and if I'll try to execute it, it will throw an error saying like the CCI app is already registered. So yeah, so it says CCI app already exists in the current database. So if when you create a new one, you just need to assign this app these external provider roles, and then you have to give them the required roles for reading and writing it. Okay. So once this is done, we connected our app to the SQL Server database, and we have set up our database. Now it's time to configure the details in the MuleSoft. Okay. So over here, I have created a basic CRUD operation POC where we will be inserting the data, updating the data, deleting the data, and fetching the data from the database. So now we'll go to the global configuration for the database. So over here, we like MuleSoft offers us with multiple database connectivity. So over here, we are going to use the generic connections, and this is how it is going to look like now. So yeah, so we have this option to provide our JDBC URL, and then we have the option to provide a driver class name. So suppose if you are using the SQL authentication, we must be having username and password. So since we do not have these values as of now, we'll keep it as empty. Now I'll show what is this URL basically. So I have already copied it over here. So the URL looks like this. So over here, we are basically providing the server name. Then we are providing the database name that we have created, which is order management. Then we keep the encryption as true, which means the data that will be in transit will be in encryption mode. Then we have trust server certificate as false. So this will the user will validate the certificate against a certified authority. And then we have a host name and certificate, which is like the by default generated host name. Then we have login timeout. This is basically 30 seconds. So after 30 seconds, the connection will get disconnected. Then we have authentication. So we have currently have Active Directory Service Principal. Earlier it was known as Active Directory Integrated. Now it is changed to Active Directory Service Principal. Then we have Active Directory Secure Principal ID, which is basically just a client ID of our the app that we have created, Enter ID app that we have created, and then we have Principal Secret for the same, which I have encrypted as of now for the security reasons. So once you pass all these details in the URL and you configure the driver name, like the driver class, then as Pragati told you, like we have to add some of the dependencies uh, for the JDBC driver. So I have configured the latest JDBC dependency, and we have also MSL 4J, which will be auto resolved by through Maven. So once this is done, so we'll go to the global. We'll check the connectivity. Yeah, look, so the test connection is successful. Sometimes we may run into an issue like suppose my client ID is like my IP is not whitelisted. So in that case, what I have to do is I'll go to my Azure portal. I'll go to the home page. I'll go to my SQL server, and over here, if you'll see, we just need to type networking, and you'll get an option. So suppose if you're connected with any of the internet, so you'll get your IP address automatically over here. You just need to add your click on it and add your IP address. So since I have already added mine, so like I won't be having any issue with connectivity. So if you want to just whitelist your IP, you just come to this screen, type in networking, and just add your client like the IP address, and your IP address will be whitelisted. So once this part is done, so now we'll be able to query the data, fetch the data, and like even insert the data in our database. So suppose I have to add a new data, say, hmm, so this is one of my friend, like I'll write his name. See, this is from this place. So my data is inserted successfully. Now I'll try to fetch. So you'll see this record has been created. So we can also update it, delete it. So if I try to delete this record, let's just run this on local. Hmm, okay, we'll just deploy it on the runtime. Since this app is already deployed on the runtime, so you'll see that record has been deleted successfully. We can do the same for updating this record. So yeah, so this was basically the POC, how you can uh, make connectivity with Azure SQL database through Entra ID. And like since I have created a basic use case for that is performing the basically the CRUD operation, you can create your own as per your project use case. You can just use this this Entra ID authentication for connectivity, and that will be more secure since it is not publishing our username and password, so it would be more secure. So this is how you can set up your connectivity with Azure SQL through MuleSoft. So yeah, so this is it from my side. So now we'll move to the trivia part. So I'd like Pragati to move ahead with this trivia, and
Yeah, so thank you, Saksham, Pragati, for sharing valuable insights here. Yeah, Pragati, you can share your screen and we can move forward with trivia.
Yes. So, all right. Thank you, Saksham, for the wonderful explanation. So, it's time to put our knowledge to test. So, we have a Kahoot quiz for the same. So, grab your phones and laptops and let's see who's going to be the champion today. So, let me just quickly show my screen. guys can go to kahoot.it and can enter this game pin, or either you can scan this QR code directly. So let's wait for a few minutes to for few participants.
I can see 36 participants, so except the host and the speakers, I would request everybody to join this interesting trivia.
We have 14 participants so far.
Let's wait for 1 minute more and then we can start the trivia.
Sure.
I think we are good to start.
All right. So we have 19 participants. So let's just start. So what is the main advantage of using Entra ID token-based authentication? We have 10 correct answers.
That's
Let's
really
see.
great.
Yep, Manya is on top, followed by Shilveer and Sabri. Yes. Next, so what is the first step when implementing the token-based authentication?
This is just a memory.
We have 15 correct answers. Manya is still on the top, followed by Ishilveer, and then Ravinder on third. This is a double pointer. So, which step is required in Azure SQL to map Entra ID users? We have 7 correct answers. Okay, Ravinder is on top, then Anirudh, and then Arnav. Ankit is the highest
Clap for
climber.
Evinder. Clap for Evinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which authentication type is used in the JDBC URL? 7 correct answers. Anirudh is on first place, then Arnav, followed by Ravinder. So, which parameter in the JDBC URL specifies the service principal's client ID? 8 correct answers. Arnav is on top now. So, what roles must be assigned to the service principal to allow read and write access in the Azure SQL? So, this is easy one.
Let's see how many of them guessed it right.
11 correct.
Wow.
Arnav still on top. So, which Java library is primarily used for acquiring tokens from Microsoft Entra ID?
I knew this one.
6 correct only.
Yeah.
Oh, Anirudh is on first now. So, why is AAD secure principal secret included in JDBC URL? 7 correct answers for this. Let's look at scoreboard. So, Anirudh is on top, then Arnav, and on third we have Akshit. So, when creating a database user for Entra ID authentication, which statement is correct? 10 correct answers. Anirudh
It
still
means,
on top, followed by Arnav, and then we have Ankit.
it means you guys have explained very well.
So, this is a double pointer, and this is scenario based.
So this question can change the standing.
Yeah, absolutely.
6 correct. So let's have a look at the podium. On third, we have Ishilveer. On second, we have Arnav. And on first, we have
Anirudh.
Anirudh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrat- Congratulations to the winners and to the runner-up.
So thank you everybody for joining today's sessions. So yeah, Pragati, thank you section for sharing valuable insights. So yeah, now you can enjoy your evening. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you guys for joining.